All right, this is part 3 of our map making adventure. We are creating a search and destroy map for Pavlov VR. We have created a blockout and then added some basic textures and art to that blockout. Players have had a chance to run through a playtest or two, and we now have some feedback. The feedback we have received is this: the map needs more cover. Now, that is pretty straightforward. The only real cover on these sites is like a box or two, but they're not really placed optimally. It's very much a straight hallway and not a whole lot of options. Like, this is about what you get currently with cover. So we're going to add some more cover. CTs can push up mid too fast. What this means is that if you take a picture and trace a line on the path that players follow, CTs can run straight up mid, straight down, and get like all the way to the bottom of mid by the time that T's run that L. So we're going to have to slow things down a bit there. The zigzag to spread out A and B isn't a good solution, and I agree with that. That was kind of a quick and dirty first pass on something to fix that issue. And all of the combat is at mid or the sites. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make changes around this point of feedback. That's kind of the intent of the map, and I think good map design has the combat around key points of interest. Like, there's no reason really that people should be fighting at their spawns or like in alleyways like this, other than to like catch somebody rotating. The key combat should be at the interesting architecture and layouts and all this. Like, nobody wants to fight in a hallway. That's just like boring. And I don't think that all of the contact point should be at the sites around the bomb spot, but around the sites in general. Like, a box drawn like this, combat should happen anywhere here, combat should happen anywhere here in mid, and combat should happen anywhere like here. I don't really want players to be fighting back here or really fighting here. Other than obviously catching people rotate and basic fighting, but like 90% of the fighting is going to happen on sites and in mid, and I'm okay with that. Tank model. So I dropped in this asset. Before, this was just a cube or something, and I dropped in a blown up tank. And this kind of causes a problem because of the dark texture. It can be difficult to see players like head peeking or peeking around this. So we're going to have to swap this out for something more appropriate and easy to see texture-wise, that makes boundaries clear to fight around so you don't have weird geometry, and make this a more appropriate area, because this is going to see a lot of use. Like, all of mid is going to see lots of combat, so we're going to clean that up a bit. Also on the docket is to continue Art Pass, get rid of some of these walls and replace with more assets, make it look prettier. All right, we've made some changes. Let's go on a bit of a tour. For the feedback, map needs more cover. We have added a whole bunch of cover, mostly in the form of crates. Now, these particular props will probably get swapped in the future for more art passes, but crates are nice because you can't see through them at all, and they're cubes, and they're easy to place and easy to understand, and they can kind of fit in anywhere. Everybody has crates. So we've added cover here in the form of arch and box to try and reduce the contact to A long from mid and provide some cover there. Added some cover A long and A long, as well as a sight. Changed out the tank that was blown up here. Added some military crates and a pillar. Not sure if these crates are going to stay here. I think the plan art-wise is to turn this into kind of a market and have a bunch of signs and things here. So this might get swapped for more market props. The zigzag used to go like that, has been changed. Now one of the buildings you can go into, and then that opens out onto B's site. Now overall, this is actually just pure sprinting. This is shorter, but this is a lot more exposed. So if you go from mid to A, or mid to B, you will be a lot more exposed than a confined protected zigzag. So I think that may help. If the timings are still too short between sites next go around, I'm just going to move B like over here. Just move the statue to this side, and the plant spot will be over here. For CTs pushing up mid too quickly, I have moved forward the T spawn, moved this over to make T's faster, moved that over to make T's faster, moved back CT spawn, it was here, moved it all the way back here on the helipad, and measuring it out with some cubes, I think the timing should be alright. If CTs sprint as fast as they can and try to get to this corner, I think that it'll be about the time that T's get here. But if they say send anyone mid, the mid guy should be able to quickly dispatch of the dude just running straight mid. In terms of cover at B, added some more crates. Also, I've broken it up visually, another large building to give a reference point so it's less maze-like. I haven't heard anything about head peaks over here, so I'm going to assume this is fine. For B site, I feel like this needs the most amount of work. And like I said, if this doesn't go well, I'm just planning on moving this over here, and that'll be the bomb site kind of more to the right. And then we'll have to put some sort of something here to block this up. I'm going to condense a few of these revision processes into one video, so I'm not spamming my subscription feed with every little minor update. So we'll try and group it like 2 or 3 revisions and updates at a time per video.
2 hours later.
We have more feedback for the map. The first one is the bomb spots are too low. That means that players have to like crouch over this to actually plant the bomb. It should be like significantly higher. So we're going to raise these up so people don't throw out their back. Another point was the collision around this. Somebody tried to throw a grenade from here to here and it bounced off the invisible wall. We got to fix that. So the feedback was that CTs that are here in the shop have to run all the way around to get into the connector. So we're going to add another ramp here so they can run this way as well as this way. So it's not such a long run. Another point was the head peak that I was concerned about ended up being a problem. This is much too strong of an angle for CTs to watch. So we're going to have to close this off. So the box in CT side of mid also caused a problem. Players could stand up on this ledge here and get a really dirty head peak that's really hard to hit. Like standing here and shooting at the people mid, and the mid people can't really shoot back. So we're going to have to fix that. And overall make the boxes a bit larger, because right now they're kind of at the point where you can just barely see over them. Players are about this tall in game, so you can see the top of their heads over the box. So we're going to have to scale this up probably another 30% so that it's larger and players can't see over it. So I'm going to go ahead and make these changes, and we'll give it another round of testing. So revisions have been made, and let's go on another tour. Art passes have started to make the map feel more like a map and less like a blockout. We have some apartment complexes, garages, and starting to place more props like the barbed wire along the walls. The alleyway over here is a good way to give depth and making a map seem larger than it is. For gameplay purposes, this could just as easily be one wall, but aesthetically, having a small barrier here that players can see down and see other buildings and cars and things, it makes the map feel more like it's in an actual world than just designed specifically for gameplay, and it adds to the aesthetic, and that's a way to get more depth and kind of world building in what otherwise would just be a flat wall. All of the boxes have been updated to be the appropriate size for full cover. I modified a couple of the sight lines around B, so now all of the angles that can see into the door are very purposeful. Mid has been updated with the new ramp, and this platform has overall been lowered to reduce the amount of head peaks into mid or into a long. The shops also received an art pass. You can see there's now props inside of the buildings that you can see into the gates, and the cover around this shop was modified slightly to make it a smaller entrance in one of the openings. The mid box has been moved out to provide a different sort of cover for CTs in mid, and that's about it. We will see what the next round of feedback suggests we improve next.